On this episode, we're going to take a look at one of the 4 goals of life: wealth. So in our previous episodes, we covered in our introduction, we covered where life has 4 goals, which are pleasure, wealth, knowledge, and liberation. And in our previous episode, we covered pleasure. So in today's episode, we are going to cover wealth. Now, first off, we'll start off by defining what wealth is and our perceptions of wealth, and in defining what wealth is and the perceptions, we'll come to where how, as one of the 4 goals of life, wealth we come by, and what one of the major points is that it's the 4 goals of life is that it's not something to be achieved as being a stage of life, or like traditionally we have learned or have been taught that knowledge first in the learning period of life, and then in the householder stage we focus on pleasure and wealth, and then in retirement we focus on liberation. So on today's episode, I'm going to cover how wealth can be achieved or be one of the main focus or goals of life in every situation or circumstance that we may face in life. Because like pleasure, which is something we seek in every moment, or we seek to live in every moment, or seek to live life in the fullest, that we seek pleasure in our moments, the very same way we can seek wealth in our moments. But first we have to define what wealth is, because you can argue that you're not going to achieve wealth in every moment of life, and that is where we need to define what wealth is, or we need to put some parameters in place on what we consider wealth itself to be. And this is where I think we tend to think of wealth as having that dollar value, that currency, that wealth is something that we can trade or we can accumulate, or something that we can let's say use as a gauge for social standing. But even if we use those words to define what wealth is not limited to let's say money or assets. Because we can say that, health is wealth. I'm not trying to make any nice pun or metaphor or statement, but you can actually calculate how much bad health is going to cost you. And we covered that in a previous episode where time is money. So let's say later on in life I develop all these health conditions like heart disease and being overweight and overstressed, and my medical bills begin to pile up and cost money, and they take away from the wealth that I have accumulated when I was younger. So health is actually transferable into a dollar value, right? Not the same way for everybody, but so we can consider health as wealth. So having good health can translate into, if you want to use a monetary value system, it can translate into dollars. But health also affects your ability to be safe, which, we all know safety is an industry. Let's say, for example, they have a lot of people that earn a living from protective services and security and stuff like that. But even being healthy allows us to be independent and safe and to be mobile. So wealth can be loosely defined, and I say loosely, but wealth can be defined as our ability to survive, right? Basically speaking. So having accumulated stores of income or cash and assets translates into ability to survive. Having good health translates into the ability to survive. Having a family, a close-knit family, a family that has strong bonds, helps protect us, helps support us, and improves our longevity and our ability to survive. So let's say when we reach old age or we are in ill health, that family is the first support unit. Like they are the first people to offer some sort of support to our situation and some sort of understanding. So having a close-knit family is very important to our survivability. Now we can say, well, you're not going to focus on any of that. I'm going to focus on earning money so that when I'm sick or when I need care or to help maintain myself or to have high survivability, I can pay for all these. No problem. If that's what you're using to gauge as wealth. But what I'm saying is that even before the monetary systems existed, or for people who live in areas where they are considered traditionally poor, the 4 goals of life still apply. So they can't use money as a gauge for wealth. They have to use other things as a gauge for wealth. So in this definition of wealth, which is the ability to survive and thrive, we now take this and apply this situationally to our life, which is one of the 4 goals of life. In that, in every situation, I face a choice to secure my future. So it can be a choice for maintaining health. It could be a choice for maintaining family bonds, for maintaining an income flow, or to ensure that I have goods in the future to survive, like food and shelter. So situationally, in my day-to-day activities, I have choices, or I come into situations where I can manage my future. I can bring my awareness into the situation where I can manage my relationships in a way to help secure my future. I can manage my health in a way to secure my future. I manage my assets. I manage not just family, but also communal relationships. So I will be well off in the future. And that's what wealth is. Wealth is securing your future. So as one of the 4 goals of life, it is not something to say we are going to work on in a particular period in our lifetime. That after my educational period or my schooling period, that I am going to focus from the age of, let's say, after school till I'm retired, that I'm going to focus on acquiring material things. It's not so easy. It's about securing the future in every way possible, and realizing that situationally every day in our interactions with our families and friends and co-workers and members of society and our own body, that one of the goals of life is to ensure our own future. So this is my short thought process on one of the goals of life, namely wealth, and what wealth is and what it means situationally as we try to achieve or ensure that aspect of being alive. So I want to thank you for joining me on Diksha today. My name is Omkar, and I'll see you next time.